Hi folks, it's John from lastchanceautorestore.com. I'd like to share with you a brief update. This is the 1958 Chevrolet Corvette. In an earlier video, we were sharing with you as the sanding progress was continuing or how it was going with the car. And we were talking about the bonding strips and the old lacquer paint and the several layers of paint coming off. So it doesn't look like much, but this is numerous hours later. So if you recall in the previous video, we were looking at the driver's side where we had sanded basically the rear quarter panel, the door, and we had basically from the chrome line down sanded. We did not have this area done, and we didn't have any of the front done, and then we'll come around. So basically what we've done now is we've got a lot more sanding done. You'll notice the hood is not done yet, but we've got the inside section of the fender, and then as I mentioned in the earlier video, we like to see the factory bonding strip areas. So this dark area here and this line, if the camera person can see on the side of the headlight pot, this is the factory seam that they join the front nose to the fender, and it's always on an angle. And then this would be some filler that the factory would use. You can see the other side here, it's cleaner. So you've got this bonding strip that comes across and down. So this is all factory. This is someone's done that. It's a low spot or a flaw in the fiberglass. That's a little bit of body filler there. But you can see this line is the bonding strip that comes all the way across. We like to see that because that proves that this fiberglass nose and either side of the fenders are original, and that's where they left the factory in 1958. So once again, you can see the bonding strip along the side here, and then this is also a bonding strip along here. This is a little bit different because there's been some damage done to this, but it's not the end of the world, because what we'll do is we'll compare that to this passenger side. So we're doing quite a bit of sanding on this. So you can see once again, not to bore you too much, but that's our factory bonding strip. This has all been sanded where it wasn't last time, so that's been brought. There's basically roughly 6 to 7 layers of paint and product to get to this normal fiberglass. Here we talked about it before, where you see the bonding strip and then the original bonding strip here, just for that the fin style, which I think I mentioned in the other video that we did. As we come down this way, you can see now we have the rest of the door. We only had part of the door done, so now we sanded all of the door and the cove molding, and there's no damage to that door whatsoever. There's a little bit of a spot there of body filler, but that's all original, and that's a 1958. And as we come back further, you can see the rear quarter panel. We'll end up putting this, we have a portable hoist. So this is another bonding strip here that the factory adheres or joins the lower rocker panel to the upper quarter panel. And that is, once again, another factory joint there. We'll sand all the bottom off once we get it on the portable. It just makes it a lot easier to work on. As we come around the back, so this is our passenger rear quarter. Once again, you can see it's all been kind of sanded down. There's a little nick here that's been repaired, but overall this is in nice shape. We haven't sanded the bottom yet, but then once again you have the bonding strip, the factory strip. So we know that these panels are original, true to the car. There's some damage in here. If you remember in the other video, there was a crack, quite a big crack. This is all questionable repair, and we'll show you that later. This is different type of body filler. That's a low spot there. So there's had some work done there, and it's cracked and separated. It's just not correct. So we're going to deal with that, and then you can see the nice trunk lid. So the trunk lid is all same thing. It's, you know, we kind of lose the layers as you're sanding, but there's 6 or 7 layers of product, and it's original lacquer, paint and lacquer primer, which was reacting. So that's the reason why we sanded all the way down. We still have to do some detail work around the lock and around the bottom of the bumpers, and then this part that the tail lights set into. So the next bit of fun for us is going to be what I call the clamshell, which is the cover for the convertible top that folds down. It's just really dusty. So this will be the next piece that we're going to have to sand to do the same thing, sand it all down to the bare fiberglass. And then the hood, and then we've got the vent door removed. We're going to take this guy out of here and clean that all up. It's all dry and brittle. So we'll remove all of the glue and stuff, and then we'll end up sanding all the rest of that cowl. And then we have to sand all of the hood. And then once that's done, everything's going to match this. So previously, when we work on these Corvettes, so we do numerous Corvettes, or have done numerous Corvettes over the years. And sometimes you get comments from people saying, the guy doesn't know what he's talking about, or you shouldn't have sanded it, you should have used paint strippers, you should have used chemicals and just stripped it. It's much easier and quicker, and instead of sanding it by hand. This is the beauty of having a difference of opinion. So first of all, we're in Ontario, Canada. The products that we are allowed to use, or a product that's available for us to use in, for example, the paint stripper world, is nowhere near the strength that it used to be, say, 15 years ago or even 8 or 9 years ago. So there's different parts of the country. Some parts of the US, you can buy a much stronger stripper where you can brush the stripper on. Some guys will lay saran wrap over top of it to help activate it. And then you basically have a tarp, drive the car on top of the tarp or push it on, and then you basically scrape it all off and use strippers. Then you need to sand and or neutralize the chemical that's on the fiberglass. So there are applications for stripping, but we want to try, first of all, the chemicals are extremely potent. Right now they're illegal here in Canada. So for those of you watching this video saying, you know what, if I was going to do that, I would strip it. We don't have the strippers of any kind of strength that they used to be. It's very, very toxic. It's very, very messy. So we want to be as safe as we can in terms of exposure to the chemicals. So the next best thing, in my opinion, is we wear the respirator masks, and it's very difficult. It's a little bit time consuming. A lot of people say, well, it's a lot of work, but the result is exceptional. Because now you're down to the original fiberglass from the factory. It exposes any questionable repair areas, and we've got some over there on that far side, if you recall in an earlier video around the fuel filler and the lower rocker panel. There's some screws and different product of body filler. So we'll end up repairing all that. So it basically shows us every area we need to deal with. There's some sections where there's some cracking, which we can repair properly. So once we get to the next step, once all of the rest of this is sanded, we'll share with you another update with it all down to the original fiberglass. But lots of progress, quite a nice car. It's nice to see a 58 Corvette with virtually all the original fiberglass from 58, with the exception of a few little spots, so it's quite nice. So I thank you for watching. I'm John from lastchanceautorestore.com.